Alright, so tuning your guitar. It's all done up at the head with these 6 tuners. I mentioned before that they change the tension in the strings. If I loosen the tension in the string, the sound goes lower. If I tighten the string, the sound goes higher. Okay, so before you get stuck into this, it's a good idea to familiarize yourself with which tuner is for which string. In the case of my guitar here, I have E, A, D, G, B, E, there, or 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's the standard setup if you have 3 tuners on each side. If you have 6 in a row, then it will generally run E, A, D, G, B, E, or 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay? So way back when I started learning the guitar, I had one of these. If you can see that, this is what we call a tuning fork, and you crack it against your knee, and it vibrates at a certain pitch, a certain note. This is the note E, so I could go ahead and tune my 6th string to that note, and then go from there. But what I have to do then is I have to understand the relationship between the strings from one string to the next and apply the method of relative tuning, or what you see 5th fret tuning, which is great. It's a useful little tool, but as a beginner with an untrained ear, it's kind of hard to match sounds together. So I generally don't recommend that for absolute beginners. So what's the alternative? Well, you can go ahead and use a specific guitar tuner. You can buy those as standalone units or combined tuner metronomes, and they're pretty good, but they rely on the strings being close to the note that you're trying to tune, otherwise it can't recognize it, and sometimes that can be very confusing for students. What I would recommend is what we call a chromatic tuner, and what that does is that recognizes all of the sounds, all of the pitches that exist in music, so you know exactly where you are as you play a string and you can adjust accordingly. So you can find chromatic tuners, they are standalone units, or you can buy them as apps on your phone or your iPad or tablet, whatever you've got. And they're really good. You can get them for free or very cheaply. And here is an example of one you can get. It's called Pitch by Frozen Ape. And here's how you use it. Okay, so using a tuner, first thing to note is the screen's going a bit crazy because it's actually trying to tune my voice. So I'll try and do as little talking as possible and play string 6. We know this is an E string, so that's already a good start. There's an E in the middle. But the light is to the right it's sort of at 2 o'clock. That means the string is too high. So I have to loosen off the string until I go green. So the light's at 12 o'clock, and I know that string is in tune. If I go to the next string, it's a little to the left. That means it's a little too low. So I've got to tighten the string until I hit the green. The D string, too low. There we go. Now this should be a G, but I'm seeing an F sharp. Now remember, F is before G, so F sharp is a little bit before G, so I've got to tighten up again. There, see G. There you go, and then B string, tighten up. And then E, high E, too high that one. And then we should be in tune. Oh yeah. So that's using a chromatic tuner. Now what I didn't mention you should be familiar with is the idea that in between the musical alphabet letters we have some sharps and flats. That hashtag symbol that you see, that means a sharp. And what a sharp is, it's a little bit higher than the note without the sharp. So F sharp, for example, is a little bit higher than F. All right. Not wanting to get too much more into that, so at the moment, if you're in any doubt, you just keep on turning until you see something you recognize, and you should be okay. That's a chromatic tuner. Now, what's the best case is to use one of these. Now, this is a clip-on chromatic tuner. That way, it's always there when you need it, and it works in the same way as the app that I showed you, but it's just there. It works on the vibrations of the strings that it feels on the body, and it's great. This is a Diodario Planet Wave micro tuner. I recommend this to my students, and if you can, get yourself one. It's really useful. Okay, so we're in tune. Let's play some chords.